You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Podcast. This is episode number 260 of Lee Central's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrill. We are joined by producer emeritus Christopher Guffey Staten and my forever co-host, Mr. Dakota Davis.
Today's episode features the three of us. It's like the old times again, Jeremiah. It feels very nostalgic in the building today. We're going to be talking to you guys, basically just covering some Henry County news for the first good bit of the podcast, and focusing on some local stuff, some interesting things that have been going on in the county. And then we're going to, Jeremiah is very stressed about some racing world happenings.
There's been a lot of drama in the Morrill house.
He might be changing his license plate. I don't know.
I have stories about that too.
Things are going wild. Make sure you stick around till the end of the show to hear what that's all about.
This show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh, but hopefully you'll always learn something new. We just did a 25-minute Patreon where we learned how much it costs to support a charity, what kind of incredible people there are in the community, and we learned about Dakota's true, tragic lack of an organ functioning correctly.
And his treachery.
Really more of a pair of organs that failed to function.
Yeah, that could be a pretty serious double entendre. Yeah, we talked about my eyes being bad.
They've got to join to know. You just ruined it all.
I just didn't want people speculating what pair of organs might be bad.
Patreon.com/BossHog of Liberty or BossHogofLiberty.com. Click on over to the Patreon side. Support us at any level, and you'll get the full story, and you'll understand what happened.
That's right. Yep, Patreon.com/BossHog of Liberty, or you can just go to BossHogofLiberty.com, and you can find all kinds of different links there on how you can support the show. Those folks are really important to us. That's how we keep the lights on in this building. It's how we pay the rent and the internet to make sure that we can stream. And we understand that times are getting tougher and money is tight, so we appreciate those folks more than ever than we have before, I think. And
I think we're going to title the Patreon Dakota's Organs No Bueno.
It's a good one. Yeah, we can experiment with that a little bit. If you donate at $50 or more a month, you get a shout-out at the front of every episode, and those folks are Miss Christy Avery from all the way in Fort Wayne. Then we have Mr. Jonathan Phillips, who's our favorite car dealer in the continental United States, and then Mr. Anthony Meyer, slinging memes and also slinging, I don't know what he hauls, produce? I don't know. He's never told me.
He found a way to get you a spectacular gift.
He did. You have to join the Patreon to find out what that's about, too.
Join the Patreon. Jump in the Facebook group that you get access to where you get to talk directly to us, talk smack. And you watch the beautiful eyes of Mr. Jackson Davis. He sat in my chair, and I'm told I should have disinfected this microphone, but I'm just now remembering that there was some trauma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
probably gonna have baby.
We didn't have an episode last week. It was Jeremiah's wedding anniversary, so we wanted to make sure that him and Miss Sarah could spend some time together. And
got a fantastic dinner down at the Primo.
Mm-hmm. And instead of doing a regular episode of me and Jackson and Audrey came in here and had a little gift opening.
I have a question.
Yeah.
A practical question. For an anniversary dinner, do you think you should go out of town? It was a Thursday, right? It was a podcast night. And it was, we love going to Primo. We love supporting local restaurants. But it's also like, at least when you get to Dakota's level of celebrity or even at my meager level, you know a million people. So you go in and you don't really have that quiet night.
You don't have as much privacy.
If you go to your hometown restaurant.
Especially at a place like
I don't know what the right answer is.
where we always go, I guess to shout out, we always go to Carnegie's in Greenfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really good
right there in the
place to
library.
eat. Yeah, that's a great spot. That's kind of been our go-to move. I think that's my favorite restaurant in the whole world.
We've mixed it up a lot.
But yeah, I typically go out of town, but I wouldn't be above going to Primo either. I mean, it's a good spot, especially, it's like a Thursday.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing, is it was just like
weeknight.
It's an incredibly busy time of the year.
Yeah.
An incredibly busy time of the year for the Morrill household, which is, it's all good things. But it was just like, let's stay close.
Yeah.
But I did, just at the moment, I was like, man, maybe we should have gone to Richmond or, somewhere a little further. I don't know. But it's about who you're with anyway, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's about the quality time.
Could have been a bologna sandwich and we would have been just fine. All right. So producer Christopher has dropped all the links in the chat for the merch, for the swag, for whatever you need to have yourself repping the Boss Hog.
I still haven't taken down the COVID masks. They're still available.
Listen, I've been following it. There's some new variant down in Australia, and they're having it's all over the news down there. They're locking down again or freaking out. Whatever.
Protect you against the monkeypox.
Good thing I got my 6th booster. Cheers to that.
All right.
That's your eye problem right there.
We don't want to dwell on it too long, but the first news item we have this week is that longtime Henry County Councilman Mike Tholles did pass away. I think funeral services are tomorrow, so on Friday. And Mike was never on the show, but he's been in our orbit. I think we've all gotten to know him over the years. 7 terms on the Henry County Council. So he got elected in 1992, and he just retired. A friend of the show, Betsy Mills, actually was the person who was appointed when Mike did retire from his seat. Betsy Mills took over the seat. So we wanted to take a minute to
because
to recognize his life and what he meant to the community. Right. Because everywhere you look this week, there's been a Mike Tholles story.
Yeah, for sure. That was one cool thing I thought that the Courier Times did. Had a bunch of different quotes and a bunch of stories of him throughout the years. And, I personally didn't know Mike very long, but the way that this show kind of started was before there was any kind of streaming at public meetings or anything like that. We were doing that. We'd go down there with a cell phone and an external microphone and try to record the meetings and live stream them on our Facebook page. And, there were some officials that didn't like it. There were some that gave us dirty
They were
looks.
uneasy?
There were some that were bad enough to where I felt like I needed to have a printed out copy of Indiana's open door law and take it with us, But Mike was always super friendly. Never, and not a care in the world that we were there. He's just like, okay, this is it. And I remember thinking then that it was because I was worried about Mike specifically because, he's an older guy. I didn't know how he would feel about it. And he's just like whatever, So I thought that was neat. And just another Mike Tholles story to add on the heap of the pile.
Yep. Well, and Corey Murphy, our economic development director and friend of the show, he shared his story that Mike was actually in the search committee and the interview committee when his position was filled, and talked about how he's one of the reasons why he's in Henry County. So the legacy is going to last for a very long time. A lot of important things were voted on. Big projects, big decisions that took place in the time he was on the council between, I guess, 1992 and 2018. So, going to miss him in the community. Absolutely one of the legends that in my lifetime that, were he, Dick Bauslag, Kim Kronk, people that just were fixtures in Henry County government over through my childhood and even into my adulthood here that have been around for ages. So we're gonna miss having Mike, but I know his family is gonna celebrate him this week. So we've been out at the Henry County 4-H Fair.
Yep,
Patreon had a good portion on it. I'm still involved with the Henry County 4-H Junior Leader Program, and we've been running concession stand out there. We just did the charity pie auction this evening. Audrey, your wonderful bride, one of my junior litter alumni, she came back yesterday, and she was she was making potatoes.
Yep,
baking potatoes.
She was working in the food booth baking potatoes. For I guess they sell potatoes at the food booth.
It was a one day only. Don't you come looking for potatoes now. It's over until next year. You have to. You missed it.
One day only.
That was a Wednesday event.
Yep. She was running the place. She was telling me some of these potatoes are too small. They didn't pass her test.
Audrey being judgy.
She's like, I can't in good conscience
allow this to sell.
Allow this potato to sell for the same price as this potato.
So she would have to eat it?
So she
was she feeding potatoes to Jackson?
Put it in a pile and said, John? Is that his name?
Mark.
You
can just make it up. The facts don't matter.
Mark, you do with these what you want. I don't know where I got John.
But you're not allowed to sell it.
Yeah, but you can't sell it while I'm here, not under my name. So, yeah. She was out there. She had a good time. I'm very new to the county fair experience. The only time I've been there is when we have podcasted from there.
Yeah.
My whole life. And, so this is, I think we went Saturday, the kickoff day.
Yep.
Took Jackson out there. They were checking in rabbits. They had a lot of pigs. And he loved it. He's so into farm animals right now.
Next year, you need to bring him back on the tractor pull day, where the kids
the pedal pull.
They get on a little tractor and they pull a sled.
Yeah.
There were some strong farm kids out there. Will Morrill, long-legged Will Morrill. He couldn't get out of
long legs.
He couldn't get out of the first round. Will has been too tall for this tractor that they have for 2 years now. And I was pepping him up. Let's go. You're going to get it. Just get this first one done. You're going to win this thing. And then he gets out there and it looks like he's getting into a Shriner's clown car. Like his legs are so long that he can't do it. I said, Danny, next year you need to put him in 2 ages above him. Let him. He's the size of a fourth grader and he's 6 years old. He just needs. He can't compete against 6-year-olds.
It's amazing how tall he is, being 6 years old. It's that's crazy.
Yeah, getting ready to start first grade.
I've always wondered, first question: is there a 3-year-old age group?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he can do it.
All right.
2-3 years old, he can come in there.
He's gonna stomp those kids, son. He's already signing up. We got him signed up for gymnastics. He's gonna be so much stronger. It's not even gonna be fair.
I'll tell you what. Young Cannon Koger was in it.
Oh, that's
Kid
right.
was stout. Kid looked good.
You mean Knox?
Cannon. Yeah.
All right.
He's the farmer. Now, I will also say.
You say that Knox isn't a farmer?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Did he take after his dad?
Knox said he's going to be a fake farmer when he grows up. No, we were talking. So this is a good, excellent transition, Dakota. It's like you've done this before. Mm-hmm. We went from the pedal pole, and then Knox, Will, and myself went into the Smith building where they have all of the indoor projects, all of the construction toys where kids build Legos.
Yeah.
This is a collection of everything under the sun. It was Harry Potter. It was Baby Yoda, and then more Baby Yoda, and then there was some more Star Wars, and then there was some more Baby Yoda. And then maybe there was some more Star Wars. Lots and lots of Star Wars Legos is what I'm saying. We were talking to the kids, and Knox says what he wants to be when he grows up. And he either wanted to be a farmer, a police officer, or a ninja. One of those three things he was going to do. I said, there's really good money in being a ninja, but I think you have to travel a bit more than the rest. It's not really a Henry County job.
Honestly, and the ninja union is just so weak. Not good for anything. Better freelance.
Dakota, Mr. Union Man. So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there. It's starting to wrap up. I think the final day of showing is tomorrow. The horse show wraps up tomorrow, and then there's the big livestock auction tomorrow as well. And then it's done. It's over. It's been 10 days of pure chaos. The big tent was taken down yesterday or today.
Yeah, so we have more parking.
That's right. What's your big event? What do you like to do when you go to a fair, Mr. Staten?
Like a local county fair?
Yeah.
I really like...
do you go for the food?
I do, but I also go for like Delaware County. they have the demolition derby.
Yep.
And I am
That's
just
cool.
as white trash as the next person. And I just love watching cars just smash into each other.
Yeah.
That's something about it.
Rush County has an oval track for their fairgrounds. They have races, and Kyle Busch and his son, his little 4-year-old son, were racing, and I believe Bryson is his name. He won. So
That's
NASCAR
neat.
Cup champion, his 4-year-old son was racing in Rushville 2 weeks ago during their fair.
Surprise, surprise, he won.
Yep. Listen, when your dad makes $20 million a year, you can afford some pretty good equipment.
Yeah, I would assume so. What's your big event? What do you like at the fair?
That's a good question. So I've spent a lot of time. I have been at the Henry County Fair at least one day every year since 1994. Just wow. I've not missed. Yeah, since 1994. The year we got married, I showed up and I was there for about 20 minutes. But we did make it to an event there. The outdoor cooking contest is really cool. That took place on Sunday, and I was not able to be there, but that's where they have adults and kids or whatever, and they will make, you do a whole outdoor spread. So you've got people that bring in their barbecue rigs. That's neat. That's a fun one. I've had the chance to be the adult volunteer for that. The pie auction is awesome because it's going to charity. That's always a fun event.
Who am I going to shove out to be the next judge? Is this going to be controversial if that happens?
I don't know. Why are you worried about it?
I just don't want to be.
I don't know. It's probably the mayor or something. I mean, it's not. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's good.
Maybe I don't know. I think Corey Criswell was one of the judges of the
food
of the outdoor cooking contest this year.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. There's not a fixture judge for the pie auction. So I think for at least 1 year, I think we can get you in there.
I want to be
okay.
a fixture. I want to be like 80 years old and people being like, wow, ever since even I was a kid.
Mr. Davis has always done he's the pie judge of Henry County.
Yeah, this man's an expert on the pies.
The kids start getting scouting reports on you.
Yeah, bring my own napkin and silver fork.
I heard Mr. Davis likes the peanut butter pies, so we're gonna bring a lot of peanut butter pies.
There's gonna be like 6 peanut butter pies.
Maybe you get so good you go to the state fair.
Yes, that'd be my dream.
Now you're the state
you
fair.
Graduate.
Right? Imagine that. How cool would that be, though? That'd be really neat.
And they do have kids that make pies for actual 4-H competition as well. This is just a charity pie auction where you can actually people get to show up, buy the pie, take it home, and eat it like we did on Patreon. But there are kids that do baking, they do brownies, they'll make pies, whatever, and it gets judged, and they just make a little piece.
I'm not interested in that other stuff, just the pies.
But they have judges that do that too.
All right, I'm into that too. I'll judge them all.
Yeah,
I'll judge them both. Any of the pies, count me in. I'm in for it. I love pie.
They have cake decorating. There's bowling.
You can
electricity. There's an electric project. Doesn't want any of that, but that pie all over it.
Yep,
all over it. The Farm Olympics is also a great event.
Yeah, what is that?
That is a relay race where kids get. I think they had 7 members on a team.
We don't round up the local farmers.
They're children, 4-H aged, and they're taking the laundry out. They're running around a wheelbarrow. They're doing a fire, bailing out water in a bucket, trying to fill another deal. So it's like a water bail line. What do you call that? A water brigade.
Mm-hmm. Water brigade.
I believe.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, there's a hay tossing event. There's they move grain and fill a bucket. It's all a timed event. The most disgusting portion of it was when they had to eat breakfast, where they had to drink a glass of milk and eat 2 waffles. And we had the donut contest here in town for the bicentennial.
So they took notes.
And there was milk coming out of noses. There were some disgusting. Yeah.
That's funny.
It was
good.
It was rough.
That. That's hilarious.
It was very very difficult to watch. But yeah, it's fun. The whole fair is a good time. So, listen. Next year, Audrey's going to be in, so you're going to be married in. You're going to be doing the whole thing.
Yep,
you're going to love it. All right. There was a car chase.
There was a wild car chase. 2 20-something-year-old dudes. One was
from Ohio.
One was 21. One was 24 from Dayton, Ohio. From Dave Chappelle's neck of the woods.
Wait a minute.
What?
Why does Dave Chappelle have to be a part of this?
Dave Chappelle lives in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
Did
That's
not
the
know
only
that?
reason?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's from Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
And so they were from Dayton, led police on a high-speed chase on 40. Like, what a bad place to do this.
They're paving it right now, too. Was it
Yeah.
through a construction site? 40 was gridlock today.
From Cambridge City to Louisville. They didn't make it that far.
It's not far.
They stopped the car.
A lot of one-lane roads.
They stopped
Or
the car.
it goes down to one lane in Strawn and in Louisville and maybe in Dublin.
Yeah. They stopped the car, thought, we're screwed.
Were they being chased by the Amish from up there in Wayne County? The Amish police?
The Amish police. How many horsepower is that? Anyway, they stop the car. They get out and they just start running like through Louisville. And police look for like an hour and a half. They even called a helicopter in for the state police to look for these dudes. Couldn't find them. The helicopter couldn't find them.
They had escaped. They won.
Yep.
If this is like Grand Theft Auto, they just have to wait like 3 minutes and the stars go away.
The stars go away. And anyway, so it was a neighbor called in and said, hey, there's two dudes just walking through a cornfield. Like, this is weird. I don't know why these guys are walking in a cornfield. It's like the middle of the night.
Did they not look like farmers?
Well,
They had not been in the Farm Olympics.
they hadn't, so they knew. They don't.
They look like they were from Ohio.
Dayton, specifically. And the police came. They got in another pursuit, and they finally got tripped up in the woods. And the police arrested them in the woods. It's such a Midwestern story. And it's just said that those were their only charges. That's the thing that blows my mind in this
Just
whole
because
thing.
they were running from the cops.
Their only charge is they evaded law enforcement and it exceeded speeds while evading. But it's like
Sometimes you just got to run from the cops,
the
man.
newspaper doesn't say anything, or the press release doesn't say anything about drugs. There's nothing about like active warrants. There's none of that. And usually that stuff is
Right,
included.
there's a reason.
Yeah. But these guys were just like, it would be fun.
Listen, it's just the Cambridge City cops. We could run from them.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds like where this went from.
And then there was a helicopter, and they were like, what have we done?
Yeah, I went to the fireworks and Matt Pierce was there. He was working security, him and Landon Dean, and we were talking. And he said, I forget what exactly he said to me. I said, yeah, but watch how fast I run away from you. He's like, he looked at my wife. He's like, hey, you might want to get your camera out and watch me tase his ass real quick. I was like, I'm not running.
Make a good TikTok.
So,
Listen, sometimes you just do stuff for content.
So the question was, and we've been having an ongoing discussion about the atrocities that Ohio commits to the rest of the United States, and just the atrocity that Ohio itself is. I think we need some added security along our entrance and
You know, the Dixie
exit
Chicks
routes.
wrote a song about how bad Ohio is.
Really? What's it called?
She knows Ohio stinks.
I went and tried to see the chicks.
Oh, that's right. They are the chicks now.
Yeah, got canceled. Well, she sang like 3 songs. And, I'm sick. And then rescheduled for September sometime.
Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah, almost got in a fight.
So what's the route that we go along this? Do we like set up toll booths, but they're actually secret checkpoint locations? Do we build a wall?
I just went through New York State, and they've actually gotten rid of their toll booths. If New York got rid of their toll booths, I don't think you're getting checkpoints at Ohio, so we're going to have to check option B.
A wall.
The wall? We're going to build the wall back?
Just for Ohio. That's all.
What about Illinois?
Yeah, Illinois is fine.
I struggle with this because I had to go to Ohio today for lunch, and it would be a major inconvenience for me. There's a lot of business conducted across state lines.
Yeah,
This is troubling.
sounds like a good option for a Zoom meeting.
Sounds like you should get new clients.
It's Ohio. Sorry, Trisha Stewart, man. But, it is what it is.
This is the Ohio versus Indiana story you're choosing to cover this week, not the other big one that we're trying to avoid.
Oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. What am I missing?
There was. I don't even want to get into it. It's because it's not. It's
you
not
brought
fun.
it up. You have to mention it now.
The president. So there was some restrictive abortion bill that got passed.
Yeah, that's bad.
In Ohio, and some 10-year-old girl got raped or whatever, and it turned this
maybe
ugly, horrible story.
She had to come
to Indiana and get an abortion.
You're right. So maybe no wall.
Yeah.
We'll just accept refugees from Ohio.
They can move here as long as they go to the
BMV
and they become residents. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Integrate into Hoosier society.
I think if you listen, you can make your peace with Indiana if you attend 2 county fairs and you eat 2 tenderloins, or maybe 1 tenderloin and 1 corn on the cob straight off the grill.
Okay, yeah, corn on the cob.
And you agree Larry Bird's better than Michael Jordan?
Nobody cares about Michael Jordan over there. You got to go Larry Bird over LeBron.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That would be the pittance for Ohio.
Yeah. You got to say Larry Bird is better than LeBron.
And then also, if you say OH, you can't reply. If somebody says OH, you have to keep your mouth shut. No, you can't say that. You have to shut up.
So, yeah.
You
say OH,
and then they have to reply with either one of 2 phrases.
They just start going.
They have to either say boiler up, or they have to say Hoosiers like an idiot. But they have to do one of those 2 things. Boiler up would be preferred. I think this is
and you have to write one good joke about Gary. The Indiana citizenship test. I like it. I like this, boys.
This is better than a wall.
And you got to learn how to drive right.
Oh yeah, the left lane's for passing.
Or just show you what cruise control is, and call it good. I made that joke earlier this week in a group chat that it must be against the law in Ohio to use cruise control, and that's why none of them use it. They pass you going 80 miles an hour, then slow down to 65. And then whenever you pass them, they look at you like, what are you doing?
Well, you slowed back down.
Okay. I did have a spectacular 4th of July in the state of Ohio. This is my problem. We need free commerce. Because producer Zach and I went to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And we were fully embedded with the IndyCar series. And we're going to cover some of this next week with our guests that you don't know about yet. But we had a first-time race fan that went over that's on Aaron Ewert's payroll. And this kid, he's a character. We'll see if he actually remembers to show up. I don't want to give too much away. But if he shows up, we're gonna have a good time. But we were at the IndyCar race. It is no secret that Sarah and I are pretty big IndyCar fans. Mm. Our chosen driver is Alex Palou. Alex trended number 13 worldwide on Tuesday on Twitter. Like, of everything. The word Palou. Did you see the story? Did this make your radar, Dakota?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I struggle because what's a Jeremiah story, I can't tell if it's an outside the world story or if it's just big to me.
The only reason I knew about it is because you and Chris Spangle wouldn't stop talking about it.
And Andrew Bowman.
Yeah.
And Zach. And Sarah.
Zach really wasn't participating.
And the rest of the world. Zach's on the beach, but he did pay attention to this. So, Alex, IndyCar champion, in his second year with the Ganassi racing team, they announced that they had picked up his option. He would be returning to the team on Tuesday, like 3:00. 2 hours later, and then there's press release, like quotes, every media report like says Palou's coming back. He's been picked up. He's going to be back with the team. Everybody's happy. 2 hours later, Alex tweets out, I didn't sign that. I'm not coming back to the team next year. Those quotes were made up and I had nothing to do with it. People are like, oh my God, what the hell? He's 4th place in points, right? Like, this is the IndyCar champion. This would be like the San Francisco, or not the Los Angeles Rams, who just won the Super Bowl, saying, yeah, we're not playing in the NFL next year. Like, we're done. We're breaking up the team. We're firing the coach. We're getting rid of all of our people. Like, we're breaking it up. We're not trying to defend it. 5 minutes later, McLaren, the Instagram model of IndyCar teams, quote tweets him into their own little deal and says, hey, we've signed Alex Palou to race for us next year. So in 2 hours, he went from Ganassi to I'm not coming back to Ganassi to I'm at McLaren.
You think it was a huge pay jump?
Unheard of. Oh, yeah. 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 Alex came to America with Dale Coyne Racing in 2020, and he was probably making no money. He had 1 year there, and Ganassi picked him up. He won 3 races in the championship, and he was making hundreds of thousands probably. And now he's just signed with McLaren, which is probably paying him 5-6 times what he was making before. Big money.
Wow.
Big difference. To make a Category 5 super team. So he'd be teamed with Pato O'Ward, the Mexican 21-year-old dude, and Alex Rossi, who's leaving Andretti Autosport to go over there as well. So Sarah took this pretty rough because she has the custom Dainty Daisy mug, the number 10. That's after Alex's car. So if he goes from the 10 car to one of these other Aero McLaren cars, all of her shirts and hats and all of this stuff is trash.
You'll be having to buy a new cup.
We have to start over. We have our Indy. We have the IndyCar license plate on the Tahoe that says "Go Alex" or Golix, but it says "Go Alex." Golix. And it has the IndyCar series and it has that number 10 on it. Now I think we just put a McLaren sticker on the car, and then it could be like Alex Rossi or Alex Palou. We don't know.
Right.
It could be either or. It covers both of them. Nobody knows. and then we got 2. That's like you have 2 bullets in the race. Could be, you don't know which one it is.
Like that scene in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
Can you think of anything in sports, or this is like in politics, like when it was Bush versus Gore, where it's like Al Gore wins the presidency, and then we called Florida for the wrong guy, and now they're going to go to court over this contract because Chip Ganassi Racing that night, it's like, no, we have a contract that's good for this guy for next year. He's ours. We own him. He cannot go anywhere. So now you have the IndyCar champion has a contract that says I'm going to be on 2 teams, and they can't decide. And they're racing this weekend.
Yeah, that was
he's in the Ganassi car this weekend.
That was one thing that I did see in all of the messages was the press release from Chip Ganassi that said at the very end it was like this couldn't be at a worse time.
Okay, so that was fake.
Oh,
yes.
Dang.
So well, it was fake because it didn't come from Ganassi.
Ah.
Earlier in the day, there was a guy named Tyler Reddick who won a NASCAR race 2 weeks ago for Richard Childress Racing in NASCAR. He signed a contract to leave Richard Childress Racing and go there in 2024. So when his contract's up, he's going to sign with them in 2024. So he just won his first race, and they put this press release out that said, we're very disappointed. We didn't know, and this couldn't come at a worst possible time. So somebody literally, yes, it was for their situation. So then 2 hours later, the Ganassi thing happens. So somebody copied and pasted it and edited it. And then that's what you saw was the Ganassi going, this came at the worst possible time. Because the Childress team just made the chase, and they have the way the NASCAR playoffs are set up. I mean, they're going to try to win a championship this year.
Theoretically, can't Alex just be like, well, I'll stay with you guys. Just match this dollar figure.
Yeah, but I think it's down to pure frustration, and I can't stand to look you in the face. They've got like 7 events left to go. Like think about this in the NFL, right, Chris? If you are the Green Bay Packers and you've got Aaron Rodgers and he says, I'm leaving the team at the end of the year and I'm signing with the Bears and I'm moving to the Bears next year, but it's not even Thanksgiving yet. So you've got to play. You've got to play the rest of the season for the Packers against the Bears, maybe twice, and you've got to go through the playoffs. You got to do the whole thing. You're going to try to win a Super Bowl with them, but you've publicly said, "Screw you." That's where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, do you think, football-wise, do you think the offensive line is going to really try to protect him? I mean, like, Swiss cheese, baby. You could hit him all you want all day long.
This is why you need a Peacock subscription to watch the IndyCars this weekend at Toronto.
I have Peacock.
So you got to tune in and see what happens to see how Alex Palou does. And the funniest thing, Marshall Pruitt tweeted out that they had a chartered plane because most of these teams are based in Indianapolis. The chartered plane today, the 2 teams that flew out on it from Indy were McLaren and Chip Ganassi Racing. So they had to get on the plane together and fly to Toronto.
Nice.
arguing over their.
That was an awkward plane ride for a few minutes.
Yeah. And they'll probably have to pit next to each other. I mean, the whole awkwardness. Like it's a traveling circus. So you're gonna go from one team to another. So you're gonna move 15 feet down the pit road. But you can't tank because you've got sponsors, right? Like he's sponsored by NTT Data, which is the series sponsor. They're at fourth in points. They want to win a championship. They don't want to just throw it because they're mad at this guy. And they're not mad. They're saying you're under contract with us. You're racing for us next year. That's their public stance, is that you're not going anywhere.
So it sounds like the real problem was Chip Ganassi Racing. They kind of they jumped a little too early, being like, we got him till 2023, putting that tweet out saying,
yeah, when they announced the press release and said. When they took quotes from Alex that he says he never gave, because a lot of times people will make up, they'll make up quotes and say, here you go. Normally it's not a confrontational thing, but Alex was like, those weren't my words.
So was he like a restricted free agent? Because you mentioned an option,
right?
Ganassi picked up the option. So.
Ganassi in their tweet put out that they had an option on him and they used it. So, it's not a public. All of these race teams are private, so that nobody sees the contract. So you just kind of hear about them, so nobody really knows for sure.
Yeah. So like,
it's not like the NFL where hey,
couldn't Alex just like sit out a year and would that negate? Maybe.
Well, and what McLaren did is that they have an IndyCar team, but they also have a Formula One team. And they have an Extreme E team. So they have all of these different disciplines. So they could say, well, and this is a negotiation, right? Basically, if Ganassi thinks that they are owed money or they are owed his services, they're trying to get money out of McLaren, who has, Bezos bucks, essentially. Like they are the rich sons of guns, hundreds of millions of dollars a year in budget. They're going to try to get paid to release him. So McLaren is going to say, okay, well, if we can't have him in IndyCar, we still have Felix Rosenquist under contract, so maybe we'll just send Alex over to our Formula One team, or maybe we'll put him in the Formula E car, the electric IndyCar series that runs around the world, and we'll put him there for a year. And then when that contract's up, then we'll take him back to IndyCar.
There's a Formula E car?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, battery operated.
Well, yeah. Speaking of e-cars, a guy at work was telling me he drives like an '08 Chevy Avalanche. Just had a brand new motor and transmission put in it, and he pulled up at 38 and 3, going north to Muncie, Sulphur Springs, and a little four-door sedan pulled up next to him. His old guy in his 70s looks over to him and gives him a thumbs up, and he's like, "All right, well, we're gonna fucking race, I guess." And my coworker just stomps the gas, and this little e-car goes, phew! He goes, I didn't stand a chance.
There's incredible torque in an electric car.
It's all instant. Yeah.
Yeah. Formula E, they sound like they are like an RC car, like that whine, that real loud electric motor whine that's in them.
Yeah.
But
that's really cool.
In the first couple of years of the series, they would actually stop the race halfway and they would change cars because the battery wouldn't go long enough to run it, and you didn't want to recharge the battery. So they would actually just change the car out. Now they've developed enough battery power where they can actually run the entire race in it.
Have they come to Indy?
No, they are. I think they're in New York City this weekend, and that might be their only stop in North America, or in their only stop in the United States. We seem to have lost the live stream for a second. I don't know if it's coming back or not. Is it a Staten problem over there?
No, the computer just shut off.
Uh-oh.
Is the power plugged into it?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue on. We're a podcast first.
We were almost done anime.
Yeah.
We're like at final thoughts anyway. So.
That's okay. So yeah, tough times in the Moral House. We'll see how it shakes out, but time will tell. Chris, you got any final thoughts for us?
Yeah, you guys actually touched about it a little bit. You kind of mentioned bowling, and so I was a very avid bowler in my younger days, and so there was a local guy here, Brian Deck, shot a 900 series.
Is that good?
When I was bowling, I told myself if I ever shot a 900 series, I would leave my equipment, kick my bowling shoes off, and just walk out the door. I would never return.
You'd be done.
Yeah, I'd be done.
My understanding is that there's like less than a dozen people in the United States that have done that.
In the United States, I don't know. I know
Or maybe it was a state.
There's 39 in the world that has completed the action of a 900 series.
Wow,
I think
that's bonkers.
I think there's been 40 actually bowled.
In like league play.
Yeah. Well,
In something official.
yes, because you're not bowling a 900 in a non-league setting. So
You're not bowling a 900 just getting beers with the boys.
no, you're not. I mean, you might throw a 300 game getting beers with the boys. Happens. You're not bowling a 900.
Which is 300
Perfect
games in a row.
3 perfect games in a row.
I mean, even when I was in my heyday, the most I ever got was 18 strikes in a row.
What is it, 12? Is it 12 strikes?
Yeah, 12 is a perfect.
So that would be
I read-
36 strikes consecutively.
Yes.
That's all you got to do, Dakota, to be perfect. Just 36 strikes.
Damn.
All you got to do is throw 36.
Imagine those nerves at like 35.
I couldn't. When I was on 11 on my first 300, well, my only 300 in league, when I was on my 11, everything was blacking out already.
Yeah.
And then once you shoot the first 300, and the second game starts rolling and you're still going pretty well, you're like, okay, this is good. But being on 34, 35, oh, nobody in the world would exist to me. Nope.
That's such an elite level.
Would it be bothering you if people are crowding behind you? Would you start to notice the crowd?
You wouldn't even
gathering?
notice. Honestly, I don't think you would notice.
Be so locked in.
The thing that's
because your mind is just so focused.
The thing that's wild to me about it is you think about bowling and you're like, oh, you just replicate that action over and over, muscle memory.
Oh.
But it's like if you've bowled for a long time, like with friends or family, then you start noticing how the ball is rolling differently.
Yeah.
As the game goes on. I don't know why that, if it's like.
It's the oil pattern on the lane. So
okay.
You're adjusting to the oil.
Ball is
So typically you have
wiping up oil.
Yeah, you have a lane and it's carrying it down the lane, right? So in the front end, it's a lot heavier. In the medium, in a pattern, usually in a staircase like pattern, it'll go down and it'll lighten up. And then I think it's like 15, maybe 20 feet before the pins, no oil. So what happens is your ball tracks that oil down and it starts building a wall. Usually right around the 10 board for most people. It builds a wall of oil right there. Once your ball hits it, it kind of bounces off and slides through it. And
so to bowl in 900, you have to know how to manipulate that.
Yeah, you have to know, okay, my ball came in a little heavy this time. Do I go left a half board? Do I go right a half board? Do I just throw it the same because I know it's going to go back? It's
So the guy you're bowling against, and he's just a terrible bowler.
Yeah.
And he's all over the place. He's screwing up. It's like playing blackjack where the guy doesn't make the right moves.
Yeah.
If he's bowling left-handed and you're bowling right-handed and he's screwing with the oil, is he affecting your game?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you can have a guy that has like a urethane ball, which will soak up oil, and he can just throw it on the outside and just cut through everything, and your ball will be a little shaky coming out.
It's just like dirt racing.
Has there been
the track? You're sharing the track with everybody, and then you're changing the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Has there ever been anyone bowl at 1200?
No, because 900, so 3 games is what is considered a set or a series, and that's all you bowl in league.
Oh, okay.
Now, I mean, you could continue to bowl like afterwards, but why would you?
That you've completed the game.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get better. You're perfect.
How big of a deal is it for a bowling alley to have that happen in their bowling
tremendous. Alley? Absolutely tremendous. I mean, if you guys noticed at all, the Rose Bowl's Facebook page, which I don't know if you follow, they've been running ads about how perfect it is to be here, and they actually ran a meet and greet with Brian like a week or so ago on our Friday. You can go down there, bowl, meet him, talk to him. I've met Brian tons of times.
Does he have free beer now?
I doubt it.
Yeah, free beer for life.
Free bowling for life, free beers.
I doubt that, but I mean, it's a huge publicity. I mean, how many articles has been shared on your guys' Facebook page just from?
Absolutely. Big Indy Star right up this week.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
fantastic. Anything else we need to know, Christopher?
Nope, don't think so.
D squared.
Got a couple things. my boy Dakota Hart. I'm repping his shirt right now. Tattoo artist at Underdogs Tattoo Gallery.
What's the new art?
Newcastle.
What'd you get this time? Since you were here last.
I'll get to that in a minute. But Dakota is selling these shirts. You can go to his Instagram. They're pretty nice.
He named himself after you.
20. He's older than me. $25. So
never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
it's just what it is. Yeah, I just hit him up on Instagram, and he has them at the shop, and he'll sell them to you. Good guy, and a good way to support his business and his blossoming business. And then we have the new art, which is from. It's not done yet.
We're starting on the other side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we already did.
Well, down in the forearm.
Yeah.
You're starting to look committed. You're going to have to buy a motorcycle soon.
I got a portrait of James Hand, who's a country western singer.
He sings both kinds, country and western.
More kind of like
Texas swing.
I think
Texas.
That in my mind, James Hand, he's kind of born in this in between generation. Right now, Americana and like West Texas music has really made a resurgence in popularity. And unfortunately, James Hand was just like way before that. But I think that he inspired a lot of these people that have become popular now. And anyway, I've been a fan of him for a long time. And then one of my other favorite artists, named Charlie Crockett, whenever James Hand died in 2020, he put out an entire album just covering like his greatest hits. And then that kind of made me rediscover
That's
him.
where you found him?
No, I rediscovered him that way. It's like, oh yeah, James Hand, I really liked him.
So Charlie Crockett was the Garth Brooks to James Hand's Chris Ledoux.
Sure, if that makes sense.
I cannot.
Chris will
But
support me.
anyway, Zach Lohorn, who did this art, and he has opened up a shop in Cambridge City, Indiana. He also did my sleeve. It's called Alien Earth Tattoo, and it's great. It's a really cool shop. It's a unique tattoo shop. It's not like any other shops. It's like, what's that architecture style you really like?
Mid-century modern.
Yeah, it's very mid-century modern, like over the top in there, and kind of like 50s nuclear age too, a little bit.
Does it have the fridge from? By the way, happy birthday, Eric Harrison Ford. Does it have the Indiana Jones refrigerator in there that can save your life in a nuclear blast?
Is it the kind that has the
Yeah,
or the click,
click, yeah,
click out like that?
yeah, the pop out.
It's a newer version of it, but
Yeah.
it looks like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, he
if
does.
you watch the latest Indiana Jones, you know that'll save your life.
Oh, I do remember that. You just said it. Yeah, whenever
Yeah.
he crawls out of it,
Yeah.
the very first part of the movie.
Yeah, it's like Nuketown
yeah.
in Call of Duty.
Yeah, but anyway, Zach is doing good things down there, and I think it would be great to support him in that venture. So that's all I
right.
got.
As we wrap up here, we have to give a shout out, some promotion to our boy Cade, Fake Farmer Cade.
Yep.
He is going to be in a grappling match at the Arts Park here in Newcastle. There are about 17 fights scheduled
Man, that's
on
a lot.
Saturday. I think the gates open at 4:30. The wrestling, boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whatever
MMA.
conflicts, MMA are starting at 5:30. It looks like you can get a VIP table for 8 people for $450. So close to the stage, the sweat and the blood can hit you in the face.
I know, but I think they're sold out.
Oh, really?
$30 for a GA ticket. I think $70 you can get in the VIP section down low. I'll be busy. I will not be able to attend, but I'm looking forward to a report back.
Yeah,
From you guys.
I am going to be there.
But will you come back to report it, Christopher? Will you come back next week just to pop in, just a quick pop in and say, hey, here's what's going on?
Maybe I could call in.
We do pay for Skype.
We do have the Skype, but the computer did go down tonight, so we don't know.
Is it
God
still
only
down?
knows.
Yeah, it's still down.
It's
Have you tried to turn it back on?
We'll check into. No, he's not. He's not Zach. He's like, well, it's broken.
It came back on. Ah.
Seems to be a failure. Oh well, we're moving on.
Yeah. I will say, so this is a rematch for Cade. The first time he lasted like 15 seconds. The guy he was. The
Does anybody want to make the joke?
Yeah. The guy he was grappling with lasted 15 seconds. I will say, in the Patreon episode, if you go back, way back, to the Christmas episode.
Like 2019.
I did last longer, and I am an untrained slob.
That is not true.
And drinks
the
beer.
United States spent tens of dollars training you to survive physical conflict.
Yeah, well, I did for like a
And that
minute
was
and a
also
half.
years ago. Cade was like a white belt.
Yeah, well, I still think I could last longer than 15 seconds.
Do you want us to get you added to the card?
Nope, I'm busy that night.
I don't
watching.
think so. I think you'd last like just enough time to tap.
No.
Just run away.
I'm agile enough to run away.
Chris is just going to get out, run away to the library, and be done with it.
Start sprinting around the
I'm going to go
octagon.
catch some Pokemon instead.
I'm out. See you later.
All right. We thank you guys so much for your support and for joining us this week. We will see you next Thursday.